Love that slow jazz.
Love
Welcome
it.
to Last Call, everyone. Episode 21, joined by Chris, Mike, Hartley, and Maggie. We got a big one.
I've got 2 eyes and we're level 5s.
Wow, so was that? Did you
No,
write
no,
that down?
Dylan Buckley.
No. I love the enthusiasm, but we don't do the intros in the Last Call,
This
Michael.
is the chill part. All
You should have
right?
saved that for episode 22, but
Mike,
that's
calm
okay.
down.
This is a learning period.
I'm Hartley and I play a human.
I've got 2 thighs and little eyes.
It's Dylan. it's Michael Pugasevich. 2 thighs and little eyes.
Episode
Oh,
21.
Yeah.
Wow.
Episode 21.
Wow, 2-1.
What an episode.
I enjoyed it a
lot.
lot.
A lot
lot.
happened. I think that's our longest
It might be
episode.
our longest.
Yeah.
But we also promised that when we switched to the bi-weeklies that we would kind of change it out from like an hour long, 45 minutes long every week to, a longer one every other week. So we hope.
And
y'all
especially
are
as,
enjoying.
hopefully you can sense it as well, we are wrapping up this story arc of the campaign. So
Yeah.
we might have to fit a lot more in. So this is a beefier episode.
Yeah.
Right, but this isn't the last episode of the chapter, we don't think, right?
Are you guys at the top of the mountain?
We are not at the top of
Are you
the
guys
mountain,
in the Feywild?
as Rogar would say.
No.
No, we're
at the
not,
tippy
Chris.
top.
Then we're not
Stop
over. We're not
bullying
done
us.
yet.
Stop bullying us, Chris.
Listen, I didn't kill anyone this episode.
Take off that
You didn't.
curling and tacos shirt. all
Okay,
right?
okay.
Back to the shirts. Ugh, it's like beating a dead horse.
Which we just did.
We just did.
Uh.
That was great. That was a really, really fun episode.
A lot of character
Okay.
moments
Starting
for sure.
Starting at the top.
Let's start at the top. I've got my notes, and they're clearly better than what Mike wrote. Just by
I don't know, man. I did some little
Just by-
underlines. and
Hartley, you
things.
just started taking notes.
but that just goes to show how bad Mike's notes are.
Wow.
Well, where did we begin?
The
Once
drugs,
upon a
carrying
time.
the drugs up.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
cat,
kobolds.
cat.
Cat.
Oh my
Drugs.
god.
Very
Yes.
interesting.
You
Yeah.
now know part of the reason why Madame Pouch is so wealthy and influential.
She is a drug lord and encourages drug sales in in the capital.
Or maybe not like drug lord, but she sells.
She's making it.
Yeah,
No,
she
is she making it?
Yeah, she's making it. It's
I
her
believe she
concoction.
mentioned
She
that
said
it
she
is
was
her
making it.
concoction.
I'm sorry, but it
very cool.
makes your eyes cat eyes, and she's a cat, and she's
That's
the
true.
only cat we've ever seen. So
That's true. Hey, nailed it shut.
Listen.
unless Chris is creating coincidences in his timelines.
That would be a Chris thing to do.
Listen, even from the introduction of Madame Pouch, I never said she was a good guy.
No.
I know.
A good gal,
A good gal. Yes.
good cat.
She
A good girl.
a good cat.
is a businesswoman through and through.
Yeah, the fact
Yeah.
that she's profiting on drug addiction. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, she was a little problematic for Dylan once
a little
Dylan found out.
problematic.
A little
I don't
twist.
know.
A little twist
A
when
little
she pulled out
twist.
that little red
Oh, what
coin,
clue?
and
wasn't it?
it just goes to show our characters are very different because Clue clearly all he
You
values
loved
is
it.
strength. It's not that I loved it, but
Okay.
it's like she's the most powerful person almost in the city. So
Which I
I'm
think
gonna respect
is-
that
yeah.
straight up.
Yeah,
I do-
that's something you value,
Yeah.
specifically in in the people we meet.
Yeah.
And it's fun, like in these last 2 sessions, specifically, like the
Tension.
sort of tension between
Yeah.
Clue, specifically Clue and Minx, has really been increasing.
Oh, that moment before
Yeah.
bedtime was great.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, it's just
Partly
sort
I
of.
state again, I love you.
I know.
I do.
I was scared.
Okay.
You scared me.
I know it's I needed
For the viewers, we're all friends. We're all friends.
We're all
We
friends.
are all friends.
No, I wanted to give Mink some closure with that happening.
Yeah.
That's all.
I think so.
So-
She needed it.
So let's hop there because honestly, we talked blah blah blah. Kobolds, red coins.
Well, hold up. I think it's fucking hilarious that Chris created a situation where a massive wooden box was brought into the sewer system without it being
Mechanics.
opened and separated into duffel bags or something.
Yeah,
no,
like-
they fit a whole giant
coffin.
But yeah, I imagine it like a shipping container.
Yeah, I'm imagining it came
Somehow-
in on like flats for
Oh
some
my God.
reason.
The whole operation, there's like fucking forklifts down there. Kobolds just walking, driving around.
Just World War Z-ing their bodies into
Yeah,
piles. to
Specifically
slide.
gave us the task of whatever you do, do not open the giant, massive wooden box that you now have to bring back up through the sewers. So I thought that was hilarious. I just
Very
imagine
fun.
all these kobolds just carrying this awkward fucking box.
Thank God
Yeah.
I
through the sewer
learned how to
system.
speak Draconic.
That is so
Fucking
cool.
thank God.
I just love how that happens.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if I didn't get the wild magic to do that and we were just like,
Yeah.
Do they speak
Well,
common?
Wink is useless. He can't speak
He can't
Draconic.
speak
Yeah.
it either.
He was just like
carry it ourselves. We'd be able to
He
strike
was the
check.
number 2 of an organization where he couldn't speak the language of any of his subordinates.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Okay, guys.
I'm gonna try to show with the hands. We're gonna take that and
Yeah.
we're gonna whoop whoop whoop.
You can see how quickly they latched onto Minx.
Yeah.
Someone who
Yeah.
finally spoke
That's the
their
thing.
language. Yeah.
Rogart did not run a tight ship.
No.
Oh, gee. No, but like, what a
Oh
fun
my
little
God.
like under like sewer community. But no,
That
left
was
Wink
really
on left
fun.
Wink on a good note too. Left the
Yeah.
kobolds
That
on a
was
good
a very,
note.
very cool.
Really happy with that.
Because like we will eventually be back. I suspect we'll eventually
Fingers
be back.
crossed, the city won't be pummeled into oblivion after
Yeah.
we leave.
Or who knows? Maybe the city will be under control, like way down the line, be under control by Ferrodin, and we
It's
need to find our
possible.
way in. And we've
Yeah.
got a person in the
Right.
underground who
Well-
is like,
we know the sewer systems.
yeah,
I don't know if Chris, you can shed some light on it, but the mechanics of the Fae in terms of time. How many days on the material plane is it in the
I
Feywilds?
think it's different.
So
We don't know. So
For
Chris might be
anyone who
homebrewing
knows
something here.
D&D, like you mentioned in the episode, time does work differently in the Fae. And I believe there's a lot of variations where like maybe time is a little slower in the Fae or time is a little faster. There's also instances where time is just completely random. It honestly depends on like when you go there and when you leave.
Right.
So
Okay.
I don't think you'll know too much about that until it comes into play.
We
Because
plop our
I'm going to
little
leave that
tushes
a little
in the Fae.
secret.
Nice. Okay.
In Chris's little pocket.
Chris's little pocket.
So we left Wink on a good note,
Yeah.
and then we took the
Dax.
box up to Madame Pouch.
Yes.
Confronted her. You confronting her again was very Dylan. It was very good. Of just like,
Well, it's
I morally disagree.
You cunt.
well, it's hard. I mean, listen, Dylan is the goodest of boys when it comes to things like that.
You are
And I
Goodest
think
of
it's
boys
like,
with no
boys.
understanding of gray area.
100%, and
Yeah.
that's just like I like it's hard for him to like he can't really hold those things in because it's like the front of mind thing that he's thinking about whenever confronted with these sort of situations, right?
Mhm.
So yes,
But even in like, and this is jumping ahead, but I think the conversations kind of go together. But like going up to the capital, like on the walk up towards row 2, what is it?
ring one,
Ring. I kept
Yeah.
saying circle. Ring 2.
You're not far off.
I'm not.
very strict.
Some would
but
say
it was-
synonyms.
Some would say, yeah.
Some might. But no, even like us trying to discuss, like Clue might have different ideas than Minx has, but that's how Gray Zone works. Where
Yes.
it's like in like that explaining to Dylan, where it's like you can still have opinions.
It's,
Yes.
it's funny that
That's it.
Minx and Clue both have like camaraderie in the fact that they both deal in that gray area a lot.
Yeah.
Where like both of us have very different views of gray area, but we also can recognize in the other
Yes.
that it's like they're operating based on their own principles, and like I disagree. I fundamentally am not that way, but also I get it.
Yeah.
Dylan, I think both you and I sometimes don't get
Yeah.
because he's like, no, this
Yeah.
is wrong. That's it. End of story. And
Yeah.
both you and I are like,
We don't
But
like we
no.
don't understand the black and white of it.
Yeah.
It, like or we we can see it,
Mhm.
and but it's that
It's-
interesting to be like,
Well,
Dylan, you get to make your
it's
own.
juvenile.
But yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
it. It's like you
Yeah.
get to pick your gray zone for the first time, probably ever, basically.
For sure. And it's very much like, like this is good and this is bad. And it's
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
sort of the stuff that Dylan has always like known when like, in Grain Bellow, not a lot of gray zone things happen.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, if I see that something is hurting someone, that is bad.
Yeah.
Right. Ultimately, that's not the case because, a little bit of hurt somewhere could mean a lot of good somewhere else. Right. Like that's just
Yeah.
the nature of
I just
neutral,
wonder-
weird gray zone things.
I'm excited for Dylan to.
It's going to happen. It's going,
Yeah.
and it is. And I think
That's a big character.
me
That's
as a
cool.
character, specifically when talking to Madame Pouch, like being able to hold that conversation with her and like at the end be able to like say my thing and her say hers and just be like, okay, well that's the end of the conversation. I think that means a lot for Dylan. However, he did cry his little eyes out and go
Yes,
to bed.
of course.
Had an awful night, but like it's stuff that he's just sort of realizing. And the same conversation with Meldar, right, which we'll get to later, but I just think in terms of like mirroring that, like talking about the people and how, he would have loved to just go off and be like, this is a stupid war and everyone's going to get hurt. And like, you should be telling everyone to like get out of the city. And like, how could you? But obviously through multiple interactions throughout the last couple of episodes, he knows that like that would not get us to the Fae.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I liked the dynamic of those two kind of like Dylan talking scenarios happening in the same episode.
And I loved your you said a really cool quip to Clue, and I think that was in front of Dylan as well, where you were like, I'm trying to think where it was specifically, and I don't know if it was the one that you guys had in private or if it was with Dylan, but it was like, it was a reference to like, Clue's like one side is like chopping arms off and like the other side is like, killing them, and you had your whole thing about it being in front of like Dylan, and I think that really plays nicely in like, where is that gray zone, right? How does that gray zone work? And it's just really cool because like, I don't know, I just think it came in like a really nice sort of conversation. I feel like those two really mirrored each other nicely.
100%.
That conversation,
that conversation was fun because I needed to like,
because I knew you wanted it too.
Yeah, I wanted it too because I think I've been thinking of last week when we recorded episode 20, and I still fundamentally think that Clue's decision was the best decision. Like Hartley down to his core, that is my vow. Like I straight up like I found it where I wanted you to say like to argue against it, because I just go no, I did what was right, done.
That's
like
no, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's it.
I literally like made notes for Minx to like go off of today because I was like, and again, I like, because my values are not specifically with Minx. That's it. Where it's like, it is slightly different. But no, because it was just, it was like, at the end of the day, Minx has done more fucked up things than I have to some degree or another. And that's where it was just like, at the end of the day, it was like more like business. It was like, no, you could have had a cleaner, Minx was like, you could have been cleaner with this. Like, you weren't efficient in doing your job. I have less trust in you. You also did this independently without asking me or Dylan. Like, these were very selfish moves. These were very like Clue ego moves that like that she was not comfortable with at all.
I think if anything, Clue.
So she had to have that.
Yeah. I think if anything, Clue is probably regretful. It was more for the color of whatever, but like
of course
of like sending him to Ferrodin. That was a step too far. But removing that, I don't see a way like I don't know. We shouldn't talk about it because we talked about it in the other episode.
We talked about it in the previous one, but that was still like the defining moment, and that's what led to this. Though that's exactly what led to this 100%. Conversation.
It's so funny when D&D feels a little too real sometimes.
I know. Of course, it's so funny,
and it's really interesting. Like your one line of like, like I wouldn't do that in front of a 17-year-old or something like that, right? And I think that was really interesting as well. I don't know. I just thought it's really cool, and
it was a really good moment.
It's really interesting, and I think both were options, and both were both would have their own sort of things that would branch off on in terms of the story. But anyway, sorry.
No, because I think it was that like I wouldn't kill somebody in front of a 17-year-old, and I said I couldn't stomach torture.
Yeah,
and those were two. Like those are two different like. I don't know.
Like, and both are right.
Yeah, of course.
Both are correct.
Neither are anyways. And so it was just, I'm happy we had it, and I'm happy that's gonna kind of like.
And kudos to Chris for putting us in a situation there where this guy was surrendering himself, and we had to choose between the lesser
choices.
Or maybe not even the lesser of two evils. We had to choose between two evils.
Yeah.
And
if we wanted to get the job done for the damn pouch the way it was supposed to be done. Because obviously the option is letting him go, but then that fucks us anyway, right?
And he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's like,
exactly.
He's a bad guy who's begging for his life.
He chopped off a bunch of hands.
We could have been lawful
killed
good characters,
multiple people.
though, and we're not.
No.
Or we're not playing them as that.
It's fun putting you guys in difficult situations.
It is.
I think a lot about how things might play out. Mm-hmm. Which is why I don't think about how a big box might get down.
Wait, I can't hear you. Say it again.
Which is why I don't really think about how a big box full of drugs might get down into the sewers. I think about the big picture.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That makes
geez.
sense.
That makes sense.
That checks out.
That makes sense. I think it was just funny. It was like, you can't open it, so now figure out how it's gonna get back up.
yeah.
It was basically a situation where like Madame Pouch is like, yeah, it's a problem. Can solve it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she knows she has something you
Leverage.
need, so she has
Yeah.
leverage, right? So no matter how difficult it might have been, like you have to do it for her,
Yeah.
right? It really plays into the fact that she is, like you said, a morally great character where she is very driven for herself and she will use any sort of means to gain power and significance in this world. Like you found out a lot about Madame Pouch. You found out about like her backstory, like her morally great character, which
Yeah.
I love about
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
You also found out more
Astral
about
plane land.
The astral
yeah. So
Yeah.
more a little bit. So we have another significant plane of existence in this world. We have Hallow, we have the Fae, we have the astral plane, or Catsington. Or what do we call it?
Catsington.
Catsington.
Catsington was a Catsington.
Catsington.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
You also found out a little bit more about the red coins of Faraday.
Yeah, I was about to bring
Yeah.
that up. So the fact that their communication scares me, like their communication directly to Ferritin, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I guess we never really learned exactly how that works, right?
we didn't. No.
She didn't tell us.
It's just like if you have it in possession, you can potentially somehow get a message across.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
So it would have made sense that the relic hunters would have
No.
these red coins, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
not every single person who has a red coin might be a relic hunter.
Yeah.
Shoot, you know what we should have confirmed with Madame Pouch is
What?
if we can be tracked with these coins. Because I had that worry for a second and then I completely forgot about that. But essentially, we are hanging out with Maldar right now with 4 little listening devices on us to some degree.
I feel like if it was like
I
something
think-
like a consistent scry, that would be crazy.
That'd be
Yeah.
impossible.
Well, it's Ferritin. Who knows?
Who knows?
You
Who
don't
knows?
know. Who
But
knows?
but a consistent scry on however many red coins there are.
I don't know. I don't
don't
know.
know.
I mean, if we can get in touch with him, he can get in touch with us, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Something to
But
think
then
about.
but then he could just scry on his own brother without, right? Like no problem.
Well,
You-
right.
You just need to know them and have something in their possession. They're brothers.
Right, I
The
guess so.
coins, like, I think we're okay. I think we're okay.
okay.
I
think we're okay.
I think it's funny that the way I kind of had it set up was like, there's so many red coins, but like no one reaches out to Ferritin unless they have to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to reach out to him unless I know for sure it's something he wants to hear.
Also,
Yeah,
that Madame
right.
Pouch was kind of like she was even very strict on that.
Yes.
Like for being so close with more like,
Yeah.
ooh, I don't know. It was the first time seeing her kind of like tense up, and I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
not comfy, not comfy.
Mm.
Is that
Um,
something we would ever want to mention to Maldar?
What?
Madame Pouch working with Ferritin?
I think he knows.
I don't think he knows.
I don't think he
No?
knows, but I also
No.
don't think she's not working. Like she said it, she's not working with him.
Oh,
No,
right.
I
I
know,
guess she
but
was like,
she just has business
both.
dealings in the same way that like
For sure.
if we wanted to burn her,
We should burn her.
The way
Nike is an American company, but they still make things in China.
It's true. We should burn Pouch.
the way I think I had Madame Pouch
Sorry.
the way I think I had Madame Pouch explain her situation was like after the city between the two brothers, right? After like the whole city debacle is over,
Yeah.
if Meldar's side is victorious, then
Yes.
I'll continue to just run this underground
Yeah.
network.
Yeah.
If Ferritin is victorious,
Mhm.
then I sell this big supply to him, right? Regardless, she
I
still
In the
comes away with
green.
it. She still comes away with
Yeah.
it clean.
Right.
Like
Makes
she said,
sense.
when you play both sides, you
Yep.
never lose.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. She's a smart
Ugh.
cookie.
With her little
Yes,
Vine
with her
network.
vines, the sound is awful.
very like Varys, very like whispers, very yeah.
Varys from
Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones.
Oh, Game of Thrones.
the bald guy, the eunuch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, they have their what do they say? What do they call them?
Little birds.
Little birds everywhere.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it's just very like that.
She's got like her little
Gabbers.
vines
Yeah.
all over.
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
Exactly.
So next,
We can talk about Dax.
well, I was,
Yeah.
what I was about to say, Penny and Richie. Penny and Richie.
Penny and Richie.
Yes.
Oh, that was such a cute scene. I can't believe that all happened in this episode.
I love making names. I think it's kind of funny that like, Dax has money problems all the
Yeah.
time, and his
Penny and
his-
Richie.
Yeah,
Genius.
Ugh.
absolutely.
But yeah, when
Oh.
you finally know the mystery behind Dax's kind of weirdness
Yeah.
since coming back to the capital.
Yeah.
So I guess Minx would have known though that like he's kind of taking care of them to some degree.
Yeah, I was more concerned, and that's I just didn't know if he was getting up to any like sketchy business, and I didn't know if he was doing that for them or like some like again not even them, but just like for himself. Like I didn't know.
Yep.
I didn't know. That's it, and so that fear.
Yeah, he was acting sketchy. Like when he took money to go
Absolutely.
like investigate, but like came back with nothing.
Yeah.
You know the real reason why now, but there was reason to be suspicious, especially when like you like the past couple episodes have been trying to figure out like who is behind the secret underground dealings. Like you gotta like the tables turned when you found out Wink was part of it. Like who's to say Dax isn't part of it as well?
Exactly.
But, no,
I think
herring.
we all trusted him too much. I don't think any of us actually thought that he was getting up.
I did.
You really?
Yeah.
You thought he was getting up to some?
Well, because we
Shikesy.
specifically used to get jobs from there.
True.
And so I just didn't know. I didn't know. And that's where I was like, did he get in deep with something that I didn't know about? And I don't know. I don't know what Chris had. I didn't know what Chris had.
Yeah, I had a worry.
I'm very comforted knowing, it's just family. But also the family's about to, I don't know, end up in a city in siege. We'll see how that goes.
Yep. And we're heading out to the Fae.
And I hope I don't come back to the city and see dead bodies of a bunch of people I love, Chris. I really hope that that's not what I come back to.
You're the look you're giving me right now, Maggie.
Chris would do that. I don't put it past you.
I'm the only ones with loved ones in this city.
It's true. It's true. She is Chris.
Hey, let's not
Shovel
not
guy.
downplay the Shovel Guy and Balvin.
Oh, Balvin.
Oh, Tyler's here.
And Tyler.
Right.
Tyler.
Oh my god. Okay, so we'll get there in a second. But
Balvin was so annoying.
But before him, Old Lady Grouch.
Old Lady Grouch.
Another Chris masterpiece.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Just the grouchiest of old ladies.
We don't need to actually talk about her. Just wanted to mention her because she was hilarious and we can move on.
Thank you for role-playing good stuff, Chris.
Thank you for
Thank
role-playing good stuff,
You're
Chris.
welcome.
Thank you, Chris. You do a good job, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay, now moving on to more important things.
I love how he interrogated Balvin. That was hilarious.
Balvin was hilarious.
And you called him Balvin? No, you called him
Blavin. Yeah.
Blavin.
And then didn't care that I got it wrong.
No, he was like, it's Balvin.
He was very upset.
He was very upset.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's been having a tough time, but I did not want to help him.
It was funny because
rich boy.
you set it up and like I did have it in my head. I was like, maybe we'll
bring him along. Like off the bat, I was like, he needs to get there.
Yeah, sidekick.
I asked his last name, like maybe his family's important and like us helping him out like would help him and get us like ahead in the Feywild. No, we
what was
didn't
his
want...
last name again? Brew.
Stock
Brew.
Balvin Stock Brew.
No, Blavin Stock Brew.
Balvin.
Orla.
No,
it's Balvin.
Balvin.
Balvin. Balvin.
No.
Yeah,
nope.
dude.
Nope.
Your notes are wrong.
No, because I wrote down Balvin and then I said Balvin and you said it's Blavin.
No, you said Blavin.
Go, check the tape.
I can't
the tape.
check it right now because we're currently in the session.
Check the tape.
And the recording.
Check the tape.
We'll check the tape after this and then we'll make a formal apology if you are correct.
We'll
if you are not correct,
at the top
we
of the
will
next
add
episode.
a formal apology at the end of this last call.
Okay, please comment
correct.
on this episode if we are correct because we are.
Yeah,
Okay,
if you comment before going back to listen, don't cheat.
Don't
Do
cheat.
it. Do
Don't
it like
cheat,
the rest
don't
of
do it.
us.
But it's funny because like I always had this idea that like Dax might not join you in the Feywild because I think that would make the most sense, especially because like when coming up with Dax's backstory, he's been away from home for so long. But another reason why is because like I didn't know whether or not you'd want to bring along this Balvin character.
Yeah.
And I just can't imagine like the meeting with Meldar Silverbeard and Balvin is just in the corner being like, and I'm coming too.
Yeah.
Like it just would have made the whole dynamic.
Well, you
of the
certainly
interaction.
you made him very unlikable, which I
thank
think
you.
made us instantly make that decision.
Yeah,
God,
but
we
he
couldn't handle one conversation with him. We were annoyed by question 2.
Yeah. If Balvin was cooler at all, he definitely would have been with us.
If Balvin was cooler, he wouldn't have been Balvin.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
But you suggested to Dax to get in contact with Merrick to potentially use Rogar's lair and to like bring the baby cousins and like prepare. I think all of those things are gonna like really help with like by the time we're back, who knows? We might need to enter the city and like fucking like through the sewers, and like there's a little empire, and like
Dax's empire.
It would be so cool.
He's the new
Hartley,
underground.
I love to have a plan. I love to give a plan. I love to have a plan.
She loves to have a plan, guys.
That's the way to do it. Tyler.
Tyler,
yes.
you want to talk about your lover boy?
Wait,
Tyler.
just because I have a
main
good
minstrel boy.
Just because I have a good interaction with a person does not mean there's a love interest there, guys.
Okay,
I
but
think you and Madame
All right.
Pouch should definitely.
the
hit
problem
the
is
bed.
that we've specifically met two people in this city that I just think that you get on with, like very scrumptiously, like very.
I don't get. I think.
I love the word scrumptious.
Okay, I'll accept. I'll accept that for Madame Pouch because that was funny or that was like good, but.
But not Tyler?
Tyler is just a piece of shit, and I've got a weird relationship with like thinking he's hilarious, but also now hating all of his decisions.
That's the
So, like,
happiest your character has been this entire campaign.
I had to play it up.
Oh yeah, you
I
had
had
to.
to.
He kind of, to be honest,
Yeah.
he gave me a little bit of Balvin vibes.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm so
For
sorry.
sure. No, that's fine.
I wish Dylan could have been more supportive for Clue's excitement.
I don't think it would have been
Tyler.
It would not have made for a better episode if you had been. Honestly, I think the moment the thought went through my head. The moment Chris mentioned the wearing a leather thing and then his voice being a little bit like a character we should know, I was like, I know who this is just from the voice that Chris is choosing. I know he's not going to be funny.
Oh no, we all knew he was not going to be funny.
So I had
This
a
was
choice.
anticipated.
I had a choice of either think he's hilarious and stick with what I was saying prior, or like show character growth. Nah,
No.
like
There's
no
no time for
this
that.
guy's
Not the time.
fucking hilarious no matter what he says. I think it was I loved
Oh, you did
it.
a great job.
I
You did a great
fucking
job. It was
loved
just so funny to like for Dylan to come to the realization of like, oh, this guy is not funny.
Yeah,
He is
not
in
funny
the way,
at all.
and I just want to go see my mom.
Yeah.
There was so much turmoil in regards to Tyler on my end where I didn't know whether I should make him funny or not.
Yep,
Like I didn't
that
like,
makes sense.
Like, do I? He's been hyped up so much.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's funnier, to have him be like a genuine, like funny comedian
know.
style person,
Yeah.
or just him be the most drawl, boring person that like tells the most awful jokes
You
that
made the right
Clue
choice.
somehow finds hilarious.
Yeah.
That was the move.
I asked in the episode, did you expect me to react that way, or did you expect me to like take any other?
No, I think the whole interaction was great. Where it's like,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, you were mad at him, but again, like, it's your friend from back in the day. Like, how can you?
Oh yeah, I totally forgot. I like hug him. I laugh, then I hug him, then I punch him.
Yeah.
In front
Then
of all the guards.
Yeah.
Then I stare down all of the guards, help him up, and then insult him. Okay.
And then say like, tell the other joke you have.
Oh yeah, tell the other joke you have, and then he says, "Oh, it's just like a couple hundred." I'm like, "Yeah, times that by 100 more, and then you got the number. Goodbye."
Yeah.
So I had a little bit of a confusion with the orc tribes that were coming in. I didn't realize that it was actually the orc tribes that were written in that notice
Yeah.
that were coming.
Because
Ferret, yes.
Ferret
Now I understand
brought
that
in
Ferret got all the tribes together to like come and attack.
So this
the
is
city.
This is the first mention that we've had that they are orc
Orcs.
tribes. There was a mention of tribes back in the Wandering Wonder when Avandra in the pool mentioned he's gathering the tribes together. But this is the first mention of them being orc tribes,
Right.
which does hold significance in
Yeah.
this world because there has been a time in the past where orcs have been rebellious
I
and
know.
it has caused
Yes.
a war.
My mom fought in that war.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, having it be an orc tribe definitely holds significance.
Yeah.
But you also heard about the scale of this potential skirmish, how the orc tribes that are marching are only a few hundred, but the amount of guards in the city number thousands.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was the thing that like kind of threw Dylan off, where like he didn't realize, he thought it was more like Ferretin's army is. I mean, it is Ferretin's army and they are orcs, but at the same time, it was like, I thought the notice should like a proper notice would have been like Ferretin army is attacking.
But he,
Right?
I think Chris mentioned a bunch, probably early on when
Yeah.
we found out that he'd united the orc tribes.
The orc
again.
tribes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, not sure how I was going with that, but
Oh no, it did make me a bit more concerned though, because again, we haven't talked about it. I just don't remember that happening specifically, like about it being mentioned previously. But no, it also gives more potency to Merrick not being in the city.
Right.
That's it.
Also makes
Yeah.
sense on why he has the down low on what's happening.
Yeah.
Right.
With
that's-
him being from
Which-
the Orc tribes.
Yeah. So no, I meant to mention it when you pulled the poster, but yeah, no, it's
That's
it was
really
a
interesting.
thought that crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Wow. Right. Because
but-
he would probably want to get the hell out of there. He doesn't want to repeat what happened to him at the Orc Rebellion, right?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
Crazy. I didn't even think about that. That's super interesting.
Funny little world.
Funny little world we
little
live
world
in.
we got going on.
I guess moving on.
Yeah.
To the
What
king.
did you guys think of Meldar Silverbeard?
I like Meldar. So, what did you guys think of the introduction I gave?
Oh my god, it was great. I
It-
thought it was awesome.
It was funny because again, another thing I didn't do, but like, because it was the first time that you were so confident and it was great. And I wanted to reach out and squeeze Clue's hand to kind of be like,
We did.
wow. Yeah. And like, again,
Yeah.
didn't jump in the moment, but like, no, it's a very like, I don't know. It's very, again, goes back to what we were saying before, but it's very like Dylan picking a path.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
it was just very nice
And
for me.
the first time that you introduce yourself as Morningstar.
Yeah.
Not Morningstar.
Silent Star.
Silent
Morningstar is the devil.
Morningstar is the devil.
Silent Star.
Lucifer Morningstar. Ooh, brothers.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
I think it was really interesting because it was like, you know, you guys gave me that like little pep talk right before we got
Yeah.
in there, and I think
Yeah.
that also helped sort of get me on track to
Yeah.
be like to come up with like a better plan. So sorry, Chris, I completely missed your entire introduction as to how the palace looks from within. No idea. No, absolute no clue where
You know
I
what?
am
You
physically
edit
standing
you
in.
edit the episodes. You'll hear about it.
I'll
later.
get to hear it again.
Yeah.
During that whole time, I was preparing my entire speech in my head, being like, "This is what I'm going to say, and this is what I'm going to reference to," and I was like flipping through my notes, being like, "Erevin, Elisir, and Titania, and Oath, and da-da-da, right? These are all the things that I can use."
And within minutes, it's like, are you playing Risk?
Yeah. So funny.
walk
break-
up to the war
breakdown
table.
was so
Oh
good.
my god.
My dad and I would play that all the time, which I think was really fun to like break the ice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that my uncle is in
The
the
Fae.
Fae.
Yeah.
As a fucking, what is it? Like, not a ward of
As a relic hunter,
Hollow,
right?
but like, is he a relic hunter?
He works at
I-
the embassy.
That's what, yeah.
Basically, he is a diplomat.
Oh,
That's why I
yeah,
was like, not a
diplomat.
ward, but
Right.
like, he's not
There's
being
a-
kept there.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
Hallow embassy in the Fae. Did
Nice. Yeah.
A representative of Hollow.
you guys bring your Hallow
Wow.
passports?
I'm excited for that. That's really cool.
Yeah, 'cause-
Yeah.
well, as you remember, or maybe you don't remember, maybe the audience remembers, in the Clue flashback, all the way in episode 6 or 7, where we had that interaction with Jonas Standy,
Yep.
where he mentioned he does work for the king.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it was the
Yeah.
old king. It was King
Absolutely.
Faldrum.
Faldrum.
So obviously he's still working for the Silverbeard Kingdom in some capacity.
Which is crazy. I didn't even know that he was alive, even though of course he would be. But like, that's Chris. He hasn't told me.
Yeah. Well, I guess Fae time too.
Again,
It's Fae
Yeah,
time.
we don't
time is
know.
weird when you're traveling
I
between
might be the
different,
same age as them.
different
That'd be wild.
planes of existence.
If it goes the other way, that's
That'd be
crazy.
wild.
The other thing I kept from you that came up as well, Hartley, was when you tried to explain your time in the Great Orc Rebellion.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
holy shit! I forgot about that, dude.
Sorry.
That was as big a surprise for me as it was for you guys
That
because
freaked me out.
Yo.
that's something that Chris. That's all Chris.
You
that's
got
not me,
wiped, bro.
dude. Well, I don't know. Wiped. All I know, like
I would say you got wiped.
the backstory that I wrote with Chris.
Without giving away too much.
Without-
Without giving
no
away too
spoilers.
much,
Yeah.
was I was a relative, like kind of an interrogator in the Orc Rebellion in the army.
You tortured
This-
people.
I
Yes, we know.
didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't torture people. I was
cut
an
off their arms.
interrogator.
You did some stuff.
I didn't cut off any arms.
You did some scary stuff.
I didn't do that much scary
You saved
stuff.
that for your middle age.
I saved that.
I saved that for last session.
My midlife crisis.
So I was an interrogator in the army. I didn't see much action. And I got some form of information information that helped maybe not win the war, but it helped with the war. That is effectively what I know.
Interesting.
And because of that, that is how I got rich. Is like my family were textile workers before, and they set me up with honors and like it pretty much forcibly at a young age, too young for my military thing.
There's something hidden in the back of your brain.
Maybe.
Yeah. They wiped it, man. You got Men in Blacked.
They Men in Black
You
me
got
and
you
then
got
set me
Wandering
up with-
Wandered.
Yeah. And then set me up with a mansion and just hope that I would like fade away.
I love how
yeah.
wandering wondered is a verb.
Yeah. I got I got WW'd.
WWE did. WWE.
But yeah, that was crazy because that just means that Chris has been thinking about this forever.
Oh.
Chris, what do you...
And yet I didn't think about how the box gets in the sewer.
Well, you should have thought about it, Chris.
Because that's
It made no fucking sense.
That's what you really care about. It's not the history of the backstories of every single NPC.
How the
It's
fuck did they get this shit down
how
here?
did you get that square box into this round hole?
Crazy magic.
That is wild, though. That is really, really crazy.
It
How do
freaked me
you?
out.
Yeah. How does Clue feel? Like,
I don't think Clue has even thought about it because
has Clue experienced that forgetfulness?
no, never once. Never once.
Whoa.
Because I guess back when I was kind of like in a depressive state in Tillville,
Yeah.
it was more about like looking back on the good times
Glory.
of the glory of it all, the glory that I never even got. So it's more,
Yeah.
it wasn't even looking back on the memories of the time. I was looking back on the things that I didn't have the chance to do because I was pretty much forcibly retired and given lots of money and just was rich and riding on laurels that I didn't think I deserved. Right. And so I didn't look back on anything until now. I'm trying to introduce myself as like a rank, and I go,
you can't even.
I don't even know what the fuck what was I?
Can I ask a question?
Oh,
That you don't have to say, but I don't know. Is Clue your full name?
yeah, I think so. Unless is Clue my full name?
Dude, it's your character, man.
Clue's my full name.
Okay.
Dylan is not my full name, actually.
What is it?
It's Dylanovsky Bukotin Tapa.
Standy. No, not Sandy.
Buckley.
Buckley.
No, it's just Dylan. Sorry.
Okay, so we talked to the king.
That's crazy, though, man. You have some pieces
Harley,
missing.
that's
I got
wild.
I
Things
got
have been
pieces
taken
missing.
away. That's really interesting.
Maybe your full name is something else, and you just don't know.
Yeah.
And your
No,
name,
I don't want to be a
your
fair
name
noble.
is a clue.
Maybe it's.
Who knows?
Oh shit!
Wow.
My clue. My clue.
You are the clue.
My name is actually Clonvasir Alagar, and it has been this whole time.
There you
It
go.
was just kind of like
Square piece goes
prattling
in the
as like
square
a dream.
hole, Chris.
Dylan is just a plant. Oh my god!
I'm a plant.
We're inceptioning
What kind
you.
of plant? A ficus.
A peace lily.
I'd like to be a ficus.
You can be a ficus.
Thank you.
Let's see.
But I think that whole interaction with Meldar was sick.
Yeah,
it was-
that was a
awesome.
lot of fun. Did you
Yeah.
have a good time?
I had a great time.
Okay, good.
I loved like playing these characters that are not good, not evil. They're like sometimes morally gray. Sometimes they make bad decisions, right? Because like it feels like you're interacting more with people in this world as opposed to just like characters or NPCs, right? Like
yeah.
the way I thought about Meldar was like, this is someone who isn't your stereotypical kind of king, kind of leader. He is a thinker, right? He's not like a Rogar kind of character where it's like, oh yeah, this guy looks like a king. Like,
What would you do if Aristotle was just given all of Greece?
Yeah.
He was Greek?
Right.
Aristotle?
I thought he was
Roman?
Roman,
I
but
think he
I
might
could
be
be
Roman.
wrong.
What do you think about the Roman Empire?
Oh,
oh
my-
no.
I like. Sorry, I just had a thought and then I farted it.
Oh, you got Men in Black. You got one.
Greek.
Oh.
Greek. I was right. Greek.
Fuck. No, I like how he's just trying to get by.
Yeah.
Like he is such a king that seems to like I know that he's just like, this is the mantle that was placed upon me basically, but I'm like, you would just like he literally was just born into it
Yeah.
and wasn't
The guy's just playing
But he's
Risk.
a thinker. He doesn't think that he deserves it or that he's more like he's more deserving than anybody else. He just goes, it was what I was born into. I'm doing my best with it.
he's a thinker, but it also makes me question, like, especially with the setup where he is literally alone. And I know that this might not be his consistent state, but I'm like, he's just seemingly making these choices independently without counsel. Like, it doesn't seem like he has a direct counsel. It doesn't seem like he has a lot of influence. And again, that might be in a different place. Other days, who knows? But like,
he did mention that he had like counselors that disagreed with him sometimes in the room.
It often is a lonely role to be king, but obviously this is a time where war is on the horizon, so resources are being put elsewhere. But I loved the imagery. Not to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I love the imagery of like
toot.
It'll get picked up on the mic. I can't. Where
Chris.
like you guys are walking through this hall of like statues of all these former kings.
Don't remember any of that.
I know. all these like grand statues of like kings who made significant impacts on this world, and you finally get to the end, and here's this king who's just literally trying his best, who like doesn't come across as kingly in a sense that like he's just trying to do the role that was thrusted upon him.
Question: was his statue anywhere in the hall?
No. So only the statues are only
after death.
Not even after death, but of kings or queens who have completed their term.
Were there queens?
There were
was
queens,
my question.
yes.
I was gonna okay.
There were kings and queens.
Cool.
So the most recent statue was what?
Sorry, never mind. Keep going.
The most recent statue was of King Faldrum, Meldar and Faradin's father.
Yeah.
And then the oldest one was, of course, Clangeddin Silverbeard, who had the sword, the Relic of Moradin.
Can't wait to hear what that's named. But that sword definitely has a name.
I have a name for it.
Of course you do.
Sick.
You're Chris.
Yeah.
Stabby, stabby, jabby, jabby.
I will need to come up with a new name for it.
Can it be stabby, stabby, jabby, jabby?
The Relic of Moradin.
I already know you guys like to call
Catsington?
Yeah, I know that's what it will be called by you guys.
Yeah.
I've got the most powerful weapon in the entire world. The stabby, stabby, jabby, jabby from Catsington.
But I was so curious to see how the interaction would play out because, like, up until this episode, like, you guys have kind of, like, frowned upon Meldar and all the decisions he's been making up to this point, right? Like, he's like, man, fuck Meldar. He's like, he abandoned the people of, like, the Tillvilles and all the cities around. So, like, I was really curious, like, was this going to be, like, a confrontational kind of, like, was it going to be, like, very heated? So I was really curious as how it would play out, but, like, it was awesome.
For 2 seconds, I got really afraid when and it was just tonally. But when Dylan was like, well, what about places like Grainbellow kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I just heard basically Meldar being like, oh, well, like places like blah, blah, basically started talking about Grainbellow. And I was like, is he about to tell Dylan that Grainbellow is like flattened?
Unimportant?
Yeah, he's like, it's
like
not,
I thought he was about to say like it's been like I don't know how to tell you this. Like that's what I was preparing for, and I was so concerned about this confident boy that just got here, and I was expecting, and then to potentially go into the Fae with like rage.
Yeah, I was worried.
Like I was concerned about that.
I was worried for something similar, but I was worried for him to say like
it's for the greater good.
Well, even worse.
Which he did.
Even worse. He said that, but that I almost understand. Him just saying like my boy, like Grainbellow doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
And Dylan would have been like,
I would have flipped.
Grainbellow doesn't matter to you. Yeah. Oh.
Which he gave nothing technically, but like middle ground comfort.
Yes.
Of just like,
very much
I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. It had to be done. This is where they're attacking.
Which
the risk metaphor.
Well, you also went with it, and I wanted again. This is a the us thing, but I was like, where you're just like, Dylan, you can't, like, sometimes you have to bring all your people together, like, because you started going in with his metaphor, with the king's metaphor, and I was just like,
no, wait, I don't think I did. What I think I said was, they're all attacking here. Grainbellow, like they don't have an army attacking. I guess that is the king's metaphor.
Yeah.
They don't have an army
it was
attacking
sort of along the
Grainbellow.
lines of that. Yeah.
But like, and I was like, we just left your hometown where we had to save people from not getting killed over this shit.
For sure.
And like, and that's where again, this was
for
me
sure
coming
though, Yes, I agree with that. The only difference I see is like pulling the guards and having the relic hunters. That was definitely like a situation, and I wouldn't want that to happen to Grainbellow at all. Like neither would Clue. But then also Clue asked specifically as a favor of the king whether the king could protect Grain Bellow specifically. That's what he said. He was like,
okay.
he was like, can you protect Grain Bellow? And the king's going like, I'm doing what I can, and I'm
fair.
It was kind of like almost Clue trying to be comfortable, going like trying to comfort Dylan and going like, there isn't an army attacking your town, dude.
Yeah,
there's an army attacking here. This is where the problem is.
Yeah.
It's funny because I probably elevated what you said though after, especially when I was like, is Grain Bellow flattened? Like, do we? And again, it was just in the conversation.
Yeah, it sounded like it might had that way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting couple. And then we saw Cadmus.
Well, no, before then, the moment...
but keep that excitement. Keep that excitement.
Okay. but the moment of us saying, pretty much, I think it was me who said, like, can you help us get to the top of the mountain? We've talked to him about this. We talked to him about the pros and cons and Grain Bellow, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, I do have, like, powers as king, and all of us were just like, yes.
Yeah.
And then like a high five across.
That was good.
I was like,
that was good.
Like this was like a Mission Impossible style like
thing.
How could we have even gotten here?
Yeah.
And then we did, and then beyond that we convinced him.
Yeah, we all rolled fantastic.
Yeah.
Persuasion.
21 and 19 and a
22.
22. Yeah. Stupid.
Crazy.
And that Titania ring thing, I mean, he couldn't read it, but it made sense. I thought that was really fun. Yeah, he's like, I can't read Elvish.
I think, it was an Elven. So,
yeah.
Also, the idea that he was like, yeah, I know your parents. I'm like, no, no, I don't want that here. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. It's like a kid being like, yeah, my parents.
Yes, don't talk. This is about me. Or it's not like about me, but it's like, don't mention them. They're not a part of this.
Literally,
your parents are good people.
It's like, shut up.
I specifically had a terrible interaction with them less than 2 days ago. And I'm here to do a mission. It is not. Yeah. It felt very like I don't know, like a kid at a high school party or something, where the teachers party at high school where the teacher's like, I know your parents, and I'm like, great.
Yeah, you're not them.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I guess.
I feel that.
But
I feel that totally.
Yeah.
And now.
And then we saw Cadmus.
Of course he was coming back.
I imagine just like the reddest face ever.
I mean, it's already pretty red.
Well, because he's a tiefling, right?
A tiefling.
Yeah.
Tiefling.
I like that. He could be a little tiefling.
He's a
stealing hearts.
In I imagine him in like the whitest like winter coat.
Yeah.
From top down to bottom, and just like the red face with the horns. So that's exciting. We're gonna get to go into the Fae with Cadmus.
God.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is cool. I don't think I'm gonna forgive him right away.
Running away. I already forgave him.
Well, because
you forgave me.
But again, it's a different thing.
To be fair, when Minx ran away, Clue and Dylan were both like on death's door.
Everybody was dead, and it was literally you with no HP. Go down in one hit to a barbarian and you didn't have spells. It's like, what are you going to do? He left in the middle of a fight when he's still at HP. We were all still up.
But you know what we do, right? We just leave. The next time there's a fight, we all flee and we just leave Cadmus.
That is hilarious.
That's the move. That's the move.
Fun. But he can do is disappear a little.
That's okay. We also sneak behind shit.
Fair. We all roll with disadvantage.
We do.
Us sneaking away.
It's definitely like eye-opening where like what Cadmus did all the way back in like episode 8 or 9 was big picture.
Yeah.
Right. And you can see that now speaking with Meldar, how like everything is big picture to them. Right.
Yeah.
So like Cadmus had this information that you guys shared with him. The king needs it. That's what's important. Right. The same thing with Meldar, where it's like there's an army heading to Klangen's base. It could impact the entire world. Let's sort this out right now. Big picture. Mm-hmm. Right? And again, when you think things big picture, small picture things like the safety of a small town or like the safety of like other people, those get affected.
Oh, the king knowing not the time.
Yes.
Stupid.
Right. The fact that he knew not the time.
Well, he misquoted it.
Yeah. What did he say?
It's not the time.
It isn't the time.
It isn't the time.
Yeah. Well, of course, Cadmus would have talked about where he got this information from, of course, where it's like he interacted with these 3 small adventurers who kind of shared what they knew. And that's how he got the information about Aravan Elysir and like where the sword might be in the Fae.
This one kid just had shovels.
So,
not anymore.
What a hilarious story to tell a king. Like, but
exactly.
So, and it's funny, it plays on to like what I had pictured with Melda, where he is like an intellectual, where like, of course he's going to remember what Cadmus told him about these like insignificant like farmer people. Of course he's going to remember the names of like your parents. Of course he's going to remember like little things because again, that's how he tries to be a good king. It's not by like brawn, it's about brains.
He's a person that like remembers birthdays, you know? He is. Like he'll remember.
He's making decisions that he thinks are the best. Not the best for everyone, but the best.
Based on the information he knows.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Love that, crazy. And I hate that about him.
We have some clout.
We do now.
You are now like relic hunters in training. A little bit.
We're relic squires.
Relic squires.
Yeah. Relic squires. That was awesome.
I'm tired.
God, I'm so sleepy.
This was a long episode and a long last call. We'll save our other banter for later. This was great.
Thank you so much.
I wake up at 3:45 tomorrow.
You gotta stop doing this.
It's 10:15.
You're gonna miss the door to the Fae.
You're gonna miss the door to the Fae.
Partly.
I'll stay up.
But before we wrap it up, is there anything that we want to talk about that we're listening to, or
that we're listening to? I finished The Wheel of Time. Season 2.
No spoilers?
It fell flat at the end, but it was still a good season.
No spoilers.
No, I did. That's fine.
That's how it is.
That's just how it is. It fell less flat in season 2 finale than it did in season 1 finale. So upward trajectory, I suppose.
Wow.
Woo.
But I feel like the last episode kind of was not good.
Not good. Nothing new for me. I haven't partaked in much this week.
Me neither. How's Gilmore Girls, Maggie?
Oh, I have an opinion again.
Yes.
I've been watching more. So I don't know where I am seasonally, but basically Rory's in Yale. Spoiler.
Yes.
Oh my God, she got in?
But Lorelai's dating this Jason guy.
Jason.
Okay, they're the same person. They're the same person. And I'm expecting that it's going to go terribly wrong, but they are the same person. And I just love that she's dating a narcissist. Like, she was like, this is the disgusting, sneaky man and gross. And I'm like, it's you. Wow, you're dating yourself. Anyways, that's where I'm at with that.
I think we have a new segment of the podcast.
Gilmore Girls?
Gilmore Gap.
Gilmore Gap.
I have opinions. But then also Baldur's Gate, and also now Clue's story is kind of making me think about Shadowheart, and it's interesting, and it's
okay.
Play the game, guys.
Shadowheart or Shadowheart the character
story.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. She's one of the first characters you make.
Yeah.
Right?
That's all.
I will be playing the game for sure. I just haven't had time.
And
it shall happen.
Not the time.
We got all winter. We're gonna hibernate, and we're gonna play a lot of Baldur's Gate.
And we're gonna do a lot of D&D.
A lot of D&D.
D&D.
So excited.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. Once again, we are asking for folks, if you wouldn't mind, just a little comment on the episode, whether it's on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts or on Google Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast. We would love to hear from you. Answer any questions. See that you're out there. See that you're listening. We love you dearly. And thank you so much for continuing on with us to episode 21.
Yay.
More to come.
Also, if you have not even questions, but just thoughts, opinions, things you would have done differently than us, we might talk about them, or also just discuss them amongst ourselves. So just know that we definitely see all of it.
We see your input, and we value it tremendously.
And with Chris subtly hinting that we are nearing some sort of close for the chapter, we will hopefully be doing another Q&A like we did for the first round. So
love it.
At this point, if you're listening, we'd love to get some questions of any kind. If you have them, feel free to send them over. But anyway, thanks so much for listening.
Once again, joined by Chris, Mike, Hartley, and Maggie. Take it away with the slow jazz.
Jazz.